In today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, I'm going to break down what phase of the bull market I believe we are in, what my personal strategy is going to be for maximizing profits moving forward, as well as giving you guys some price predictions. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So we're coming at you guys today with a bit of a different video. If my voice does sound a little off, I'm a little bit sick, so please don't mind that. But I did want to bring you guys this kind of content because I do want to just give you a brief update on where I think we are at in the market. I know I often cover, altcoin news and take a look at the charts, but I thought that this video would be good for just kind of like a full overview of where I believe we are at currently, where I believe the market is headed, and what this means in terms of actual price. So we're going to kind of format this video in 3 different parts. We're going to start off by talking about Bitcoin, and then we're going to talk about Ethereum, and then we're going to talk about the large caps and alt season. So I guess 4 different phases according to this infographic, which will be basically the foundation of what I'm talking about in this video. But I do want to build on this because I think there's a lot of important things to discuss. So number 1, I want to talk about Bitcoin, okay? Now, I made this video here on January 8th, and I basically said that although Bitcoin has been, a solid performer here, and it has really been leading the crypto market for the majority of this bull run, I said that I expect at some point this year that is going to change and that Bitcoin will end up taking a backseat to Ethereum and therefore altcoins as well. Now, we take a look at Bitcoin dominance. We can see here that Bitcoin dominance is coming in. Give me a 5-year. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is coming in at about 54%. And you can see here from, November 22nd, this thing is up like 36%, effectively meaning that Bitcoin has been destroying the majority of the altcoin market. It went from being worth 40% of the total crypto market cap to 54%. Now, my upside target for Bitcoin dominance, excuse me, my upside target for Bitcoin dominance and, kind of like the absolute highest I could personally see it going is 60%. And given the fact that we're already at 54%, I just don't think there's much more juice to squeeze out of this Bitcoin outperformance. And I do believe that Bitcoin's, kind of time as being the best performer in the market has actually just concluded with the approval of the Ethereum spot ETF. And I do think that this kind of marks like phase 2 of the market cycle according to this infographic. So you got to remember, like if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, and if we take a look at the altcoin market, okay, so here's Bitcoin right here. You can see it's basically chilling right near these prior cycle highs. If I go ahead and circle that there, and now let's go ahead and take a look at the altcoin market, which is total 3. And yeah, this looks nothing like the Bitcoin chart, okay? So Bitcoin clearly has been a better performer than the overall altcoin market. We can talk about specific ones like Render, which has, outperformed Bitcoin, which we've been covering on the channel. But, generally speaking, Bitcoin has been leading the altcoin market, okay? And it does make sense from a market psychology and a fundamental perspective, why Bitcoin outperformed. First of all, after a brutal 2022, where we even saw Bitcoin down like 76% from prior highs, altcoins were down 80, 90%. It makes sense that if people are looking to get exposure to crypto, they're probably going to go with the safest asset in the space, which is in fact Bitcoin, right? The biggest one. Second of all, there were 2 narratives that I think drove a lot of Bitcoin's outperformance for the first, from January 2023 up until now. And the first one would be the Bitcoin spot ETF, which, I think pulled forward a lot of buying pressure for Bitcoin. And second of all was the Bitcoin halving, which we were already up here when the halving kind of happened, because I do believe that the spot ETF inflows really like accelerated a lot of the money that was flowing into Bitcoin. So The point I'm trying to make though is now the spot ETFs have been out since January. The Bitcoin halving has occurred. What is the next big narrative in the market? And I believe that it is going to be the Ethereum ETFs, and then people believing in the potential of altcoin ETFs coming next, of other altcoin ETFs coming next. So we got this news last week that the SEC has approved 8 spot Ethereum ETFs. This comes just 4 months after they approved spot Bitcoin ETFs for the first time. And now, based on this news, Ethereum went on a nice rally, okay? If we actually take a look here at the Ether chart, funny enough, I did make a video when Ether was down at 3,000. I said that I was looking for a bounce off the bull market support band, and then that news came out, and boom. I mean, this thing is still up like 25% from the from that bounce at 3K. Obviously, I didn't know that news was going to come out. I was really just looking at the trade from a technical perspective. However, it did end up working out there because of this news. So this video I made on January 8th, okay? The big thing I said at the end of the video was that I think this year will be the catch-up year for Ethereum. I think Ethereum has been an underperformer versus Bitcoin, okay? If we actually take a look at Ether's performance from December of 2021, I mean, it's down 35% versus Bitcoin, okay? And this is the one chart that I have been looking at for quite a while. I do believe that it is Ethereum's turn to kind of play catch up. The Bitcoin maxis have been bearish on it because it's been underperforming. The Solana maxis are bearish on it because ETH is underperforming Sol. And yeah, we've seen this before where a lot of people are just, dunking on ETH, calling it old technology, saying it's time for a new layer 1 to take over. And ETH always just manages to prove why it is a blue chip in the cryptoverse. And I do believe it is at this point. I think that ETH has solidified itself as a blue chip. And as the second biggest cryptocurrency, now that we have the Bitcoin spot ETF hype, that we're seeing a lot of this money actually flow into the Ethereum ETFs and therefore increase the price of Ether. Now, one of the things I said in this video is that I would expect the Ether Bitcoin valuation to move up this year. And if we actually take a look right now at the Ether Bitcoin valuation in terms of percentage, it is up about 3% on the year. You can see here that at one point Ether was up versus like 12% versus Bitcoin. Then it was down 15% versus Bitcoin. But this most recent spot ETF news has put it in the green on the year once again. And that is why I actually, when I was kind of making my purchases at the beginning of this year for crypto, I went majority into ETH instead of Bitcoin, simply because I am expecting ETH to outperform. You can take a look at this long-term trend line over here, which Ether did in fact bounce off of on this most recent bounce. So, yeah, I do believe that we are now in phase 2 of the market. I think that Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin from here on out. I don't think we're going to see the flipping happen, but I do think that there is a lot more juice to squeeze out of Ethereum. Now, I want to move in to the large caps. Okay, so we've spoken about Bitcoin, we've spoken about ETH. Let's talk about the large caps. So I think the most obvious one to talk about is Solana. I think that, despite BNB being bigger, that Solana has been a lot more, had a lot more attention this bull market. And I actually tweeted this the other day, but I'm going to show you guys this chart. So this is the Solana versus Ethereum ratio. And, if you take a look at this chart here from June of 2023, okay? No, let's make it January 2023. Solana has outperformed Ether by 472%, okay? And if we actually take a look here, let me put it back to regular. Yeah. So, we can take a look at this, and what it seems like to me is, I do think that for the most part, these altcoin ratios are kind of like oscillators, and we can see here that, Solana got pegged on its ETH ratio right here at this level of resistance and has now made its way back to the downside, effectively meaning that Solana was outperforming Ethereum this entire time. It got rejected right here, and now I do believe that Ether is actually going to outperform Solana in the midterm. I think that near the end of the bull bull market. Once we enter phase 3, this is when Solana could once again start outperforming Ethereum. But in the meantime, I do think that the Sol ETH ratio has to chill. I think the ETH Bitcoin ratio is due for a bounce. And all of this means that I think right now Ethereum is probably the best like risk reward bet in the cryptoverse. Now, I do want to talk about phase 4 to wrap things up. And just in terms of like price predictions, like Bitcoin, I would not be shocked to see that $100,000 price tag before the end of the year. And Ether, I would not be shocked at all to see, like a 5,500, 6K price tag. Keep in mind, its prior cycle high was 48.76. So, I do think that we are in phase 2 and that, we might see some consolidation, some pullbacks. But for the most part, I think the market's going to keep doing what it's been doing since January of 2023, which has really just been going up, Okay, so phase 4. I want to talk about phase 4 because I think that we have to be a lot more careful in this cycle when it comes to phase 4. So, I need some coffee. Okay. So I don't think that in this bull market, you're going to be able to just simply throw money in a bucket and double your money like it was in the last bull cycle. I do think that this cycle, you have to be more selective with what you are buying in order to basically compete or outperform the market. Now, this is where I think that high quality altcoins and high quality memes come into effect. So Solana, I definitely think, is poised to be a big outperformer. AVAX has been a sleeper coin here, but it's kind of been lagging Solana, but I do think that this is a big catch-up trade. Kind of like the one that I took on, Ether catching up to Bitcoin at the beginning of the year. I would take the bet that AVAX kind of catches Solana in terms of performance or tries to catch up to it and performs a bit better. But Solana definitely has been the better one so far. Chainlink, Pepe, this meme continues to show, outsized strength. Render, biggest AI coin here on the market, one of my personal favorites. Chronos, we have some layer 2s. Dog with hat, another big meme. Let's see. Stacks, the Bitcoin layer 2. Arweave, another, AI related coin. Inch here, Sui. This is a new layer 1. Generally speaking, new layer 1s tend to do pretty well. Ondo Finance as well. This coin's been on fire. There are a lot of coins here, and I think the point I'm trying to make is that you do want to be looking for the strongest, okay? I don't think this bull market, I don't think phase 4 is going to be as easy as it was last time. And the reason being is because there's so many coins now, okay? Liquidity is spread so thin, like new coins are coming out every single day, and they simply cannot all move up by these ridiculous numbers. There's just not enough liquidity to go around. CoinMarketCap says there's 2.4 million plus cryptos out there. I think that, looking down the line, when crypto does get that mass adoption, I think that maybe 10 to 15 of these actually survive and become integrated into everyday life. And I think the rest of them will not, So I do think that being selective is a little more important this bull market. But yeah, some of my favorites altcoins include like Solana, AVAX. I do like Chainlink, Render, Crow, Quant. There are a lot of different altcoins here that I do think have lots of potential. I just don't simply think that throwing money at any altcoin is going to be as effective this bull market as it was previously. So just something to keep in mind. And on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. I know this was a bit of a different style of video, but if you do like this kind of video with just like general market updates and where I think we're at in the market, let me know in the comments down below and I will consider doing them more frequently. I hope you are all happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.